So, we recently recorded a short video about weighing yourself and how I mentioned how a lot of people hate getting on the scale. And in the short, you can check it out. I give a tip on what you can do, what I do to maintain my weight in between 165 and 170. It works pretty good, eh, Dr. Z? Dr. Z here, she's been doing this way longer than I have. Give us some insights into this scary scale stuff.
Yeah, we call that scale drama. And the scale is really a neutral thing.
Hmm.
I can step on the scale today, I can step on the scale tomorrow, and not a lot will have changed in my world,
Hmm.
but the number on the scale. And what
Hmm.
we know is depending on what I've eaten. So, what I do is I get on the scale every single day.
Yeah.
And that over time, I build up the habit that neutralizes a lot of the emotion.
Hmm.
It does still come up. I recognize that. But when I do the scale, in addition to a food journal,
Hmm.
then that is very helpful to know, did I go out to a restaurant the night before? What did I eat the day before? When
Yeah.
I can look at the foods that I've eaten, then I can gauge for the water weight. Because many times when I go to a restaurant, they put a lot of sodium, a lot of salt in the food to make it taste
Which
good.
can easily make you go up a pound or two, right?
Exactly. When you eat a lot of food that's salty, you tend to get thirsty and you drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
And so it's natural that your weight would be up.
And that food retains the water in your body, right?
Exactly. That's what that bloated feeling, after the next day you go to a restaurant, you're all bloated because it's all the food, but it's all water. It's
Yeah.
not that you have physically gained more fat cells or that you're storing more fat on your body. It's all water weight.
Yeah. So I had mentioned how I just put a number in my head. I want to weigh somewhere between, doesn't have to be exactly 165 or, 170, but that's my zone, right? So I've been doing this for, I don't know, a couple of years now already. And I just fixed in my mind, I just envision in my mind, my weight when I get on that scale is going to be some number between 165 and 170. And it works really well because what we focus on, we oftentimes we can get that. So another tip that I want to give you guys is, okay, I'm at my number. Maybe I was thinking about it earlier. Let's say you're somebody that's weighing in right now around 230 and you're like, well, I'd love to get down to 180, but that just seems totally unrealistic to me. Well, you can use my scale tip and just start in 5 pound increments. Go, just picture in your mind 225,
Mm.
right? So you picture 225, and magically, before you know it, your brain, your subconscious is going to start creating things in your life to get you to that number. You may hear something, a tip or something like what we're offering here. All of a sudden, when you get to 225, just drop it down to 220. Keep going in 5 pound increments until you hit your number.
Yeah, there is a lot of power in that because sometimes when you think about a number and you have a feeling, then you know that you don't believe it yet. That feeling of resistance is like, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
But if it is, you break it up into smaller pieces. How do you eat an elephant?
Yeah, I was just
One
thinking that.
small bite at a time. Then your brain, it's easier to grasp the idea that, yeah, I could see 5 pounds,
Yeah.
or I could see 1 pound. And I was also going to talk about the fact that think about what you tell yourself every day
Yeah.
because you're
Very
listening.
powerful.
I talked about how I went up, they had donuts for us at church, and I went up to the donut table, and all of a sudden the thought popped in my head, I'm so thankful that I'm someone who doesn't eat donuts. And just that thought changed the way I felt about the donut. And
Hmm.
I walked away and I
Wow.
didn't eat the donut. So your brain is incredibly powerful, but you got to manage it.
Yeah.
You've got to control what goes on up in there. Otherwise, you're going to do your default.
Well, all right, there you go. There's a couple, there's a few things in there to deal with the scale drama.